37 minutes past the hour. Welcome back to the most news in the morning. Well, it's a fact. President Obama is not a Muslim. He's a Christian. But there is another truth out there that a growing number of Americans don't believe that. According to a Pew Research poll, 18% think that the president is a Muslim. That's up from 11% when asked the same question last year. 34% say they believe he's a Christian, and that's down from nearly 50% last year. 43% say they don't know the president's religion, and that is up from 34%. But why, and why does it matter? Joining us now from Orlando is Reverend Joel Hunter, a spiritual advisor to President Obama. Welcome. And also from Nashville, Stephen Mansfield, the author of The Faith of Barack Obama, as well as The Faith of George W. Bush. Stephen, thanks for being with us as well. Let me start with you, Reverend Hunter. You're a spiritual advisor to the president, as we said, and why do you think there's a misunderstanding here about the president's religion?
Well, because the president has decided to keep his religious life more personal, more private, there is not the public definition. He doesn't public define himself. And when you don't define yourself, others will define you. And probably inaccurately and falsely, as is happening in this case.
And let me ask you about this, Stephen. Why does it seem that there is such a, I guess there's questions, it's a subject, it's up for debate. I mean, have we seen this before, or is it because the president looks different than past presidents that it's such an issue?
Well, we have definitely seen situations where people are uncertain about what a president believed, but I think it's the inconsistency with Barack Obama that is at issue. You know, he's had the iftar dinners, he's had the seders in the White House, he's had the Hindu ceremonies in the White House.
But President George W. Bush also had iftar dinners at the White House.
No question about it. And what I was going to say was the thing is, though, that on the, for example, the National Day of Prayer, the National Prayer Breakfast, he was not involved. So people are unused to a kind of Christianity that embraces other faiths as equally valid paths to God, and yet is a little suspicious of fellow Christians at times, and that's sort of marked this administration.
Do you think that, Reverend Hunter, that the president has shown that he's suspicious of fellow Christians?
Absolutely not. He was very involved. He's always been involved in the National Day of Prayer. He's declared it the last 2 years. He's spoken at the National Prayer Breakfast. This is part of the mystery. I would say that there are probably few, or relatively few, Christians in America that are as faithful with daily devotions as our president is. And it's remarkable to me that people think that because he tries to treat all faiths equally, that somehow that makes him less of a Christian.
Stephen, why do you think it's such a subject for discussion? Why is it so important that people know the religion of their president?
Well, if a president's faith is sincere, it's one of the most important things about them. And I think that we've sometimes elected people to office when we weren't sure of their faith. Even George W. Bush, you know, whether he was asked who his favorite political philosopher was, and he said Jesus Christ because he changed my heart. Well, we didn't know what that meant exactly. I think we would like to have known more. Looking back at it now, I think we would like to have known more about what Ronald Reagan believed when he was contemplating Armageddon while he was in the White House. So I think we live in a more religiously sophisticated, religiously open society than we have in recent generations, and I think people want to know what their president believes.
And Reverend Hunter, you know, there was a lot of speculation and talk after he left the church in Chicago of where he would join, what congregation he would be part of in Washington. And do you think it was a mistake not to announce that, or not to be more public about where he worships now?
No. As a matter of fact, I remember a conversation that T.D. Jakes and I had with him in the Oval Office about this. He literally creates a circus whenever he walks into a church, and he was very frustrated because he tried with several churches, and his disturbance was that he was not allowing others to worship, which is the purpose of going to church, and he certainly couldn't worship because of all of the, hullabaloo surrounding his attendance. So it really defeated the purpose of actually choosing a church the way some other presidents were free to do.
And Stephen, this is interesting when you look at a little bit deeper into the polling about questions about this. A third of conservative Republicans who were asked think that the president is Muslim. It's up 16 points since last year. How much of that is just politics? I mean, we saw in this poll that the more you tend to disagree with the president on issues, the more you tend to question whether or not you believe he's Christian.
Exactly. The president is absolutely not a Muslim, and I think those who don't like him simply throw this label at him because it's, you know, part of the political mudfest. I think the broader issue is what I said earlier, that the president is what we might call a very liberal, a broad, and all-inclusive kind of Christian. And so he values Islam, its heritage, its worldview, and that's confusing to people who expect that if you're a Christian, then you are, you know, not embracing of Islam or not embracing of Hinduism. So that he's not a Muslim is certain, but that these numbers are so high amongst those who think he is, I think that's a real statement that the White House has not done a good job communicating what he does believe.
Many people, Reverend Hunter, thought we'd never have an African-American president. Do you think that we will ever elect somebody who's not Christian in this country?
That would be probably difficult. There's about 80% of this country that affiliates with a Christian belief, and so that would be certainly a challenge. I don't know. I can't see into the future, though.
All right. Interesting conversation, though, today. Reverend Joel Hunter, as well as Stephen Mansfield, thanks to both of you for being with us.